Hi, I'm David Pollandine. I work for International Justice Mission Canada here in the Prairies, and actually I'm standing in an interesting spot. Just on one side we've got some lovely green grass and hedges and a cycle path, and on my left you'll see a major highway with cars rushing by. Now I've done that for a reason, and all will be revealed as we go through this vlog. But I'm here really just to do some updates about IJM, how we're navigating the waters of COVID-19 and still being faithful to our mission of protecting the poor from violence across the developing world. So please do listen into this and you'll get a little update on what's going on. And if you remember, we're doing that in three basic ways. The first way is responding to immediate needs. And for that, I want to take you back a few weeks ago to a story that took place in Uganda. A senior officer in the Ugandan police unit responsible for investigating gender-based crimes reached out to IJM and wanted to see if there was something like an emergency fund that she could use to support her officers. Now, there was already very limited resources, and so a lot of their resources had been repurposed for responding to public safety under new COVID-19 guidelines. However, the Ugandan team didn't need a second to jump at this opportunity, just to be able to supply and give the police what they needed. And so they supplied the police to be able to create temporary shelter in Kampala, so the police had a place where they could bring women and children who are fleeing increased domestic violence. It's a wonderful little story, and it really is not possible without the generosity of our donors, of you, our donors at IJM, so thank you for that. Secondly, we're looking at a near-term response. For that, I want to go to the Philippines, and that kind of unlocks why I'm standing here. You see, I think this is a real metaphor to what's going on with our work in the Philippines with cybersex, tackling cybersex trafficking. You see, on one side, we've got this beautiful serene scene. It's quiet, it's countryside. It's much like 7,000 islands in the Philippines. And yet on my left we have a highway of constant noise, of constant traffic, of constant buzz in the ear. And that's really what cybersex trafficking is like in the Philippines. It's a constant noise, it's always happening. The internet activity is ceaseless. And you can be in the most remote part of the Philippines. You can be on an island where you see nothing much more than countryside, and yet in somebody's home there could be abuse happening. For predators and paedophiles from Western contexts, often, men often, who are working with a facilitator in the Philippines, usually somebody from the child's family or close connections, and they will be putting on a show of abuse of those children for the purpose of that person sitting in the comfort of their own home in Canada or in the US. In that context, we have been able to continue rescuing children from this horrific crime type in the Philippines, and so that has continued. And just recently I want to share just the story of rescue of 4 young children thanks to a joint operation where 2 suspects were arrested on charges of OSEC, online sexual abuse or exploitation of children. And really it's down to the tenacity of our IJM Philippines team and their partners to just go out and continue to do this really heroic work. It is also an international effort, and we can't really find the perpetrators without international police being involved. And this was an Australian police tip-off, because unless we capture the predator or paedophile in the West who's abusing the child, there's very little chance of finding where it's happening in the Philippines. We need that contact so that we can trace where the computer's been connecting to online in a physical place in the Philippines. And so that happened. And so we were able to rescue the children who were between the ages of 2 and 8 years old, and were able to arrest the perpetrators who unfortunately were their guardians. So thirdly and finally, we are looking to do a long-term response, and that really means business as usual. Our commitment to protecting the poor from violence has not changed, and so we continue to look at ways to do that, both online and through trainings. And I wanted to just focus on one way that we do that, that we're doing that at the moment, by the creation of a new website that will highlight our work at IJM against violence on women and children. The website will include learnings and news from IJM's work, how we want to end violence against women and children in Latin America and Africa. And it also includes IJM's anti-OSEC, online sexual exploitation of children, work in the Philippines, and really on trying to combat as well sexual exploitation of children in India. So we expect to be adding learnings and information to this site on a regular basis. So please do get informed, really inform yourself so you can be an advocate who really knows their stuff and can really talk about these issues to people and just raise awareness. And so you can see the website URL there on the screen just below. Thank you again for walking with us during this difficult time of COVID-19. The din of the traffic has not gone away. It's still going on, and so we have seen that in COVID-19 that violence has increased and it's not going away. But I just want to say thank you to all our supporters who really have not gone away either, and you have continued to be generous in your giving and be vocal in your support. So thank you for that, and I look forward to seeing you again in a few weeks. Thank you.